Outrage as Russia attacks Europe's largest power plant in Ukraine. Welcome to the news and thank you for tuning in to listen. Ukraine accused the Kremlin of nuclear terror on Friday after Europe's largest atomic power plant was attacked and taken over by invading forces, sparking Western horror at the threat of Russia's war contaminating all of Europe. People all over are saying, oh, Putin is right, you know, the Western has been doing this for a very long time, and blah, blah, blah. Well, even though this is bound to happen, even though at the end of the day, you know, you cannot remain a champion forever, must it happen at the cost of people's lives? That is my own question. Must it happen at the cost of people's life? Well, what do I know? The news and details, please. Stay with us. Blast lit up the night sky as the plant at Zaporizhzhia came under shell fire, while Russian forces advanced in southern Ukraine and continued their sometimes indiscriminate bombardment of several cities elsewhere. Ukrainian firefighters said they were prevented from accessing the site initially before the attack was paused, and they were able to douse the blast at a training facility on the site. The 6 reactors of Zaporizhzhia, which can power enough energy for 4 million homes, were apparently undamaged, and international monitors reported no spike in radiation. But the attack was slammed in Washington, London, and other Western capital cities as utterly irresponsible. We survived a night that could have stopped the story, the history of Ukraine, the history of Europe, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said. An explosion at Zaporizhzhia would have equaled 6 Chernobyls, he said, referring to the plant in Ukraine that was the site of the world's worst nuclear disaster in 1986. Russian tank commanders knew what they were firing at, Zelensky alleged, adding the terrorist state now resorted to nuclear terror. After phoning Zelensky during the night, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson demanded an urgent meeting of the UN Security Council. He accused Russian President Vladimir Putin of reckless action that could now directly threaten the safety of all Europe and pressed anew for a ceasefire. Putin, however, has been unrepentant about an offensive that had cast Russia into the economic, sporting, and cultural equivalent of exile to Siberia. He said Thursday that the invasion was going strictly according to schedule, according to plan, in the aims of driving out the neo-Nazis in Kyiv, led by Zelensky, who is Jewish. Addressing security chiefs in televised comments, Putin added that he would never abandon his conviction that Ukrainians and Russians are one people. French President Emmanuel Macron, after speaking to Putin on Thursday, believed the worst is to come, and aide said, Russia has intensified threats across the country during the 9 days of conflict, with fresh reports of civilian casualties and devastating damage, particularly in southern areas near Kherson, the first city to fall to Moscow's troops. In a second round of talks held on Thursday, Moscow agreed to Ukraine's request for humanitarian corridors to allow terrified residents to flee, but there was no clarity on how they would work, and no sign of any move towards a ceasefire. Zelensky called for direct talks with Putin, saying they were the only way to stop the war, but he also urged the West to step up military assistance and give me planes. Ukrainian leaders warned that Russia, with its offensive stelling north of Kyiv, is bent on reprising the horrific tactic that used to level the Syrian city of Aleppo in 2016. The port city of Mariupol, east of Kherson, is cut off without water or electricity in the depths of winter. Mariupol's deputy mayor Sergei Orlov told BBC Radio his city humanitarian situation was terrible after 40 hours of continuous shelling, including on schools and hospitals. Today, Putin's style of war is like Aleppo. So Mariupol goes to Aleppo, Orlov said in English. I believe that he wants to destroy Ukraine as a nation, and Mariupol is on this way. In the northern city of Chernihiv, 33 people died on Thursday when Russian forces hit residential areas, including schools and a high-rise apartment block, according to local officials. Authorities say presidential parks in the eastern city of Kharkiv have also come under indiscriminate shelling, which UN prosecutors are investigating as possible war crime. Many Ukrainians were digging in with volunteers in the southern industrial hub of Dnipro, filling sandbags and collecting bottles for Molotov cocktails. In the western city of Lviv, others organized food and supplies to send to cities under attack and produce homemade anti-tank obstacles after watching YouTube tutorials. Facebook and BBC blocked. The conflict had already produced more than 1 million refugees who have flooded into neighboring countries to be welcomed by volunteers, giving them water, food, and medical treatment. Both the EU and United States said they would approve temporary protection for all refugees fleeing the war. It is also driving some Russians to flee west. On one of the few remaining routes from Russia to the EU, trains from St. Petersburg to Finland have been packed, with Russians fearful that now is the last chance to escape over tougher Western sanctions or a Kremlin crackdown on domestic opposition. I know some people who are quite desperate at the moment to go abroad, said Elena, a 37-year-old Russian living in Finland, who did not want to give her full name. A lot of people don't feel safe. They know that the economic situation will be hard from now on. And also, many people from a moral perspective cannot bear staying, she told AFP in Helsinki. The fear of igniting all-out war with nuclear-armed Russia has put limits on Western support for Ukraine. Though a steady supply of weaponry and intelligence continues, the main lever used to pressure Russia globally has been sanctions, which have been the rubble into free fall and forced the central bank to impose a 30% tax on sales of hard currency after a run on lenders. Putin's invasion has also pushed some Eastern European countries to lean even harder west, with both Georgia and Moldova applying for EU membership on Thursday. In Russia, authorities have imposed a news blackout, and 2 liberal media groups said they were halting operation in another death knell for independent reporting under Putin's regime. On Friday, Facebook and multiple media websites, including the BBC, were partially inaccessible in Russia as authorities cracked down on voices criticizing the war. Intel and Airbnb were among the latest Western companies to announce that they were pausing business in Russia and Belarus. It is not looking like it is getting better for Ukraine. Sincerely, they said the worst is yet to come. My heart just goes out to humans. People are going to be saying, what is our business? These people living there are humans. And believe me, they are not even related to Putin. Neither are they related to Zelensky. And they are all paying the price of what they know nothing about. Okay, on this note, we've come to the end of the news. We say thank you for tuning in to listen. Until I come your way next time, enjoy the rest of your day.